back to the green yard. It is a beautiful fall day, a little bit warmer today than our last planting video, which is nice. I'm over here in kind of this part of the green yard that I really haven't talked about. I think I've done one video before over here. That was our planting video for our fruit punch mango over there. But this is kind of a really unique space because it's only about 6 feet wide. Like most houses, our house does have an opposite side to it. You know, we have that huge space over on the other side of the green yard where we have the food forest with the big pond, the koi fish pond, everything else. Not really typical of a side of the yard. Usually side of the yards look more like this, and so this is kind of our side of the yard here. Like I said, it's about 6 feet wide, and that's it. And so what I decided to do, and it's a little overgrown right now, I haven't cleaned it out at this moment in time, made a little pathway here, nice gravel pathway underneath this grass, and then I've planted my tropical trees along this side. The nice thing is that this is east facing, meaning that the sun is setting in the west, so by about 1 o'clock, maybe a little bit later, it is completely shaded over here. So I'm able to plant some of those tropical trees. I provided some additional shade for a little bit, and now most of them are able to take that full sun until that 1 o'clock time or so. But the reason we're here today is because I'm here with another new plant. I've been waiting for this plant since I first got into this almost 5 years ago now. No, let's see. Yeah, right around 3.5, 4 years ago, I got into this. Just right after our son was born, our oldest son was born. And this is a Chico Sapote, a Sapodilla tree. It creates a beautiful kind of tennis ball shaped fruit that has a pear-like consistency, brown outer shelf or outer skin, and it tastes like brown sugar, and it's supposed to be amazing. I am so excited to grow this tree and have it produce. It does do actually very well here. It's actually zoned for 9B, which Phoenix is zone 9B. The only thing is that it does require some afternoon shade, which is why it's here, and for those first few years it does require that cold protection. But once it gets more established, it actually does fantastic. This is a little bit bigger of a tree, so I am going to protect it this year, but I'm assuming that next year I won't have to deal with that cold protection at all. We'll be okay. Also, this big papaya here is going to grow even taller, so I think next summer I'm not going to have to protect it at all in terms of sun protection, because it's going to get a lot of shade from this big giant papaya tree, which is awesome. So let's go ahead and let's work on clearing away some of this mulch. This area has been heavily mulched, in about 2 feet of mulch, which is awesome. I was trying to kill out some of this Bermuda grass. You can see it came back, but for parts of it, it actually worked to suppress that Bermuda grass. It's also really helping these trees. They are doing immense, just fantastic. Behind you there is a black sapote, so I'm keeping the sapote family over here in this side yard. Black sapote is also known as a chocolate pudding fruit. That's been doing amazing this year. I have a Spirit of 76 mango, our yellow dragon fruit, which hasn't been doing that great. It's been in the ground for 2 years, and hasn't grown very much. Our beautiful papaya, like I mentioned before, our fruit punch mango, and then I do have a blue java banana back there as well, one of the pups I took from our other tree. So let's go ahead and clear out this mulch and get this beautiful Chico Sapote Sapodilla in the ground. Here we go. All right, so I chose this spot because it does get that shade. It's also been heavily mulched, so I don't think I'm gonna have to do much for soil amendments, but we will kind of see here. I meant soil replacement. I'm just clearing away some of that Bermuda grass that's growing in here. I'm gonna try to space it right between our papaya and our dragon fruit. The goal with that dragon fruit is that it's gonna eventually grow up and over this trellis to allow it to start fruiting. Most dragon fruit needs to start growing down in order for it to actually start producing fruit. So let's go ahead and start clearing away some of this soil, some of this mulch, and get everything mixed. Here we go. All right, so soil isn't quite as decomposed as I would like it to. I know in our last planting video with our hog plum, the soil was really decomposed, lots of organic material. I didn't have to add any nursery soil in. For this one, I am gonna add some nursery soil in, kind of get a little bit better of a 50-50 mixture between the native clay soil and that nursery soil to give our Sapodilla the best head start on its life. So I'm gonna go get that dirt and that soil and start mixing it in here to get a good planting base for our Sapodilla. I'm gonna use about half the bag, and then I'm gonna mix in our clay soil, get that really good, it really combined, so it really is about 50-50, that beautiful soil and that clay dirt. Here we go. All right, so we got our hole ready now. I have my beautiful Sapodilla here. I'm gonna go ahead and get it out of the pot, put it in the ground. I always like to check first, see what direction I would most like it to grow in. So that way when I put it in the ground, I know it's off to a great start. So let's get this guy out of the pot. I don't think it says rooted out as I would hope so. It's also a bigger plant. This is a 7-gallon. So it's a little bit harder to, get it out of here, but I think we'll do okay. Let's see what we got here. It's actually pretty well rooted out. Good. Let's get the pot out of here. Fell apart a little bit there at the end, but not too bad. All right. That is almost perfect, actually. Let's go ahead and turn it just a little bit more. Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, cool. So just gonna add in that extra dirt, keeping in mind that root flare is right here. So not to add too much in. I don't want to cover that root flare. That is never a good thing. You want that plant to be able to, breathe and thrive. All this extra dirt here is actually going to be beneficial too. I'm going to add in some additional mulch, so it's going to have almost this fresh start for this space, which is really great considering this mulch and everything has been sitting here for quite some time. So one of the last things that I like to do, I always like to remove the nursery tag, telling exactly what it is, that Sapodilla there. I do like to remove these stakes as well. It's important to remove the nursery stakes because it can really help the plant with its growth. You don't want it to grow with that stake against the roots. This one's actually right next to the tree, could cause some issues with that future root growth. Especially now that's in the ground and it's going to take off come springtime. We want to make sure that those roots can thrive in the dirt. So I went ahead and detached it. Just going to simply pull out that nursery stake and then cover up that hole right next to the trunk where that nursery stake was. All right, perfect. So now I need to add in that additional mulch, cover the rest of this with the mulch that I have. I have a decomposed mulch that I use with my hog plum planting that really is almost like compost. So I'm going to do a layer of that over top of it as well. And then of course my amendment, the one that I'm using right now is that sulfur. I want to make sure that we're able to, get these trees off to a good start by lowering that pH in this area. This area has never been planted in, so we do need to lower that pH immediately for this area so that way our tree can gain access to those nutrients that it needs. So let's go ahead, get those amendments, get started. All right, so there we have it, our beautiful brand new big Chico Sapote Sapodilla tree. You can see on here it has some really great new growth that it's been putting out. I'm hoping that continues. You'll notice the color difference of that decomposed mulch. It looks really like compost. It has a really dark color to it. That is what we want. It's going to add in some nutrients, some organic microbial life, some different things into that new tree there. I did separate out the mulch away from the trunk. We want to make sure we can see that root flare. That's one of the most important things. And then now I'm just going to give it a really good watering, really wash in that sulfur, get everything going here. So hopefully I'll have a growing update just like with my hog plum next year. Maybe I'll even get some fruit next year. This is a bigger tree, so there is a possibility for fruit. So as always, live green, plant lots, and of course have fun. We'll see you next time.